Oh, is it not on display? Well, I guess I'm already ready. Time doesn't start in this game until after you gain control, which is after the first cutscene. Oh, are you guys actually ready for me to like go up? All right, cool. So this is Aperture Tag. It's a mod of Portal 2, and basically it replaces your portal gun with a gel gun that fires blue gel as primary fire and orange gel as secondary fire. Oddly enough, we actually didn't use any orange gel in the Portal 2 speedrun. I realized this like yesterday during practice, just talking about it, and I was like, wait a minute, we actually have skips for every chamber where we use the propulsion gel. But now you'll get to see it in this game. And that's the gel, if you're not sure, that's the gel where you run on it and you go extra fast. So that sort of lends itself to lots of skips in this run. Alright, time will start in a moment when it flashes white. So, begin.
Hello, and welcome to the Paint Gun Testing Initiative. You have been in hibernation for 99999. That doesn't seem right. Well, it doesn't really matter. Please leave the restroom whenever you are ready. I know that bed might look comfy.
You put in
There's a reason that painting decides to like disappear. Like it just doesn't like to exist.
So please exit your room. You know, I don't even know why.
So the engine here is kind of similar to the Portal 2 engine. There's going to be a lot of similarities where you're b-hopping across using the rail, kind of hopping, like kind of hugging it to kind of go fast. Most of the movements are kind of similar here, except with the instead of portal gun, you have a paint gun that's going to come up sooner or later. And you're already kind of seeing the familiar like mechanics you see in Portal 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this chamber sort of introduces all the different puzzle mechanics that were in the original game, and just so the player is familiar with them in case they haven't played Portal 2 before. Wait, actually that's impossible though, because you need Portal 2 to download this mod on Steam, but whatever. And the next chamber we'll start to use the paint gun.
Go without any problems. I can see it in you. Pick up the device and let the vacuum delivery system take us to the first test involving paint.
So in this game, the main method of travel is actually through the tubes. I guess that's their way of replacing the elevators throughout this game. Now, interesting to note is most of the dialogue triggers in this game is actually not through certain doors, but it's on the floor. So instead of jumping from the starting point and walking onto the floor, you can actually start the dialogue triggers early, because this game will also have similar mechanics to Portal 2, where Znernicus needs to wait for certain dialogues to happen before he goes through a certain area. Now there in particular is actually not too big of a deal, because he still has to wait for the door here.
Yeah, although this first chamber coming up here is pretty involved.
Guess you forgot to fill that out. Don't worry, I'll get that checked. In case you haven't noticed yet, that green field, the Aperture Science Paint Gun activation field, also known as this.
Come on. Alright. That's kind of tricky. And try to skip the wall bouncing there. Good. Nice. That all went well.
Very nice.
So, I guess a couple things to note about the gel physics in this game. The blue gel bounces you higher if you jump directly off it, as opposed to like falling onto it out of a jump. We actually like use that to make sure that we have enough height for certain things. For example, here, bouncing off the gel twice will bring you high enough to... Oh man, I gotta do it again apparently. Bouncing off twice actually gives you more height than the first time, and allows me to go up on these walls, which would save a little bit of time, and then also get the end of that puzzle by just sort of going around it.
Just in case you guys haven't noticed, basically, I think every puzzle in this mod is pretty much broken. You pretty much either jump or strafe somehow through the level that will complete it much faster than intended.
Yeah, it was fun playing through this game for the first time, having already like speedrun Portal 2 for a long time, so I like knew the tricks of the engine. and I was just like able to break every chamber on my first try usually if I wanted to. Not to say that like the puzzles aren't worth doing, I think they are, but when it comes to a speedrun, we pretty much don't do any intended routes. It's kind of fun.
You're being watched, 'cause you can watch me too. How cool is that? Oh, the door. Let me get that for you. And the song. Good luck.
All right, that's bouncy for some reason. And if I chain a couple bounces across here, ooh, oh my god, that was a little close.
Now he has to actually watch out for his speed there as well, because just like in the Portal 2 engine, it's easy to also lose control of your speed because you're going too fast, and thus he has to kind of slow down a little bit there just to make sure he maintains his air control there as well.
This next one's probably one of the more difficult chambers. Hopefully it goes well. Especially this first bit. Okay. Oh no. Ah, I can try that again. Oh man. Gotta try that again.
And most of the tricks here, if you end up actually messing up once even once, you usually end up dying a lot more in this game.
Yeah, this
So-
game has like goo pits in almost every room. Alright, okay, backup bounce. Okay, we're up there. That just pretty much allows us to get up here and get a lot of height for this next part. Okay, just barely made that up to the cube. We can ignore the other cube, we don't need that one.
Nicely done. You may now exit the room. Chop chop. You should be able to reach the exit.
Alright,
Very nice.
second try.
This next thing coming up here, for some reason they give you like a 40-second cutscene of Tuber. I guess they were trying to show off old Aperture or something here from the main game. So if you want to read a couple donations here, go ahead.
Sure. All right, we have a $50 donation from Phil D. Cancer took my dad about 5 years ago. Let's beat it faster than the runners are beating these games. Put this money towards the Zelda Ocarina of Time file name bid war for the name Bob. Probably not going to happen, but I have to at least try to get my dad's name on the speedrun file of my favorite game of all time. $50 from Ghost Out. As always, a small help for PCF for the amazing work they do, and to try and get Jack 2 in French. You got all the support from France and the French restream.
This is sort of a recreation of the smooth jazz chamber from Portal 2. This time we're using the gel gun instead of the portal gun. Nice. Okay, I think my other cube fell off. Oh, what? It was still on. Okay. There's a little hole here you can bounce through. And another long tube ride.
Out of next like 3 chambers, there's a lot of tube ride action going on. Thankfully, this one's a little bit shorter than the first one, but it's still quite a long one. And
Also, I was just going to just ask about how this game is timed relative to Portal 2.
Oh, well, sadly enough, the developers of this game did not make the map change, functions work the same way in this game as they did in Portal 2, so we can't record demos across every chamber like we would for Portal 2. But thankfully, Fatalis, shoutouts to him, made something called Source Split, which is actually a plugin for Live Split, a common speedrun timer, that can automatically detect whether or not you're in a loading screen and give you a pretty accurate game time for this game.
so this is the
Pretty
third
awesome.
final long tube ride that's going to happen. And you probably noticed from earlier, there are certain surfaces that you can paint blue gel on, and for some reason can kind of make them bouncy. And we don't know why that's the case, but we kind of use it to our advantage, just to complete the stage faster.
Hmm. Actually, I think we're coming up to the first orange gel chamber, right? Is that the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Here, instead, there's a button that you're supposed to press to open a gate on the left side here, but thanks to some D-hop tactics, which was kind of hop our way across the top of the cabinets and just trigger the button that way.
Oh, I could have gone, but didn't want to risk it. Ooh, that still felt really close.
And I've got to say, just in general, there's areas of this game where there's these crushers, and I think Portal 2 is a little more lenient than Aperture Tag in terms of the timing of those crushers. I don't know if you agree with
Yeah,
that.
they
Tim.
like made every crusher in this game move really quickly. This game's supposed to show you how you can like surf off of platforms, but we're going to ignore it and just jump across that gap and go straight to the ending. The next chamber is probably like the saddest excuse of a puzzle being broken. There's so much going on, and all you have to do is bounce up a couple times, and this is the exit.
Very nice.
I think I forget what's coming up next, actually. Oh yeah, this one. So I guess this is the first chamber where I'll start to use crouching on the orange gel. So when you crouch while walking on orange gel, the game will keep you at a slow crouch speed momentarily, but it'll like actually remember that you've been on the gel for some amount of time. And as soon as you uncrouch, it will give you whatever speed you would normally have if you had been running on the gel for that long. So it's basically a way to get a lot of speed in a short distance. And it's also a useful way to like make sure that you have top speed by the time you're trying something like this, for example. This chamber sort of shows off like just how far you can bounce with some air strafing and some blue gel. They didn't expect you to make that without an orange gel runway or this.
This might be your best performance yet. Unfortunately, the metal music was part of the test, so this test does not count towards your performance.
I guess it'd also be useful to explain how the fizzlers work in this game.
Yeah, basically the fizzlers are the puzzle mechanics that enable or disable your gel. And there's actually a glitch with them that can allow you to preserve gel even when it's supposed to be gotten rid of. So I will be going for that later. Hopefully I get it. Oh, that didn't look good. Trying to do a corner bounce here. If you do 2 quick bounces in succession, you can build up a much higher speed. Let's see if I can get it here. Okay, that looks good.
Oh, very nice.
Not perfect. But we still have plenty of time to
Alright. You might remember this chamber from Portal 2, except now I have gel. Nice, I got the early turret kill. Oh, dang. If you time your jump just right, you can grab that off the ground. There we go.
There's actually a very small, like, detail kind of stuff about objects in this game is if you actually look down far enough, the object will actually be like inside your body, and you can actually avoid painting the object. It's not really, it doesn't really come into a play here at the moment, but later on, when you're trying to avoid painting a certain object, especially when you only have blue gel available, if you look far down enough, you can actually avoid painting the object, and that will come into play a little bit later on in the game itself.
Here's another place where using a short crouch boosted runway can bring me right to the exit. Oh, wow.
This is a pretty precise jump here.
Yeah, this one, you have to angle it just right. I'm surprised that didn't work, actually.
Nice.
Oh my god.
just got a strange sense of deja vu.
And just to repeat, I guess, crouching while you're on the orange gel allows you to get that maximum speed that you need much more quickly than you would be able to otherwise. Usually you need like a long runway, but with crouching you can just use a little bit of orange gel and get maximum speed.
All right, we'll make it the next time. Dealing with the gel coming out of the gun can be a little tricky sometimes in this game because like sometimes it'll just drop a packet of gel, like drop meaning it won't like continuously come out depending on how busy the game is, probably rendering everything else and stuff. So sometimes it'll like, even if you're holding down the button, just not spray a piece of gel, and that can make you not have enough speed to cross something. It's a little annoying, but it doesn't happen very often.
You were eligible to perform a series of highly dangerous procedures, and that was what we were testing for. Another mystery solved.
Okay, curve thing there, another corner bounce here, looks good, and we're up.
We did it!
Very nice.
It was fun to go through all the chambers and look for like all the different ways you could use gel to reach the endings quickly, because often there were like several different shortcuts that were found, and then it was just a matter of like timing which one to see what was the fastest. The Portal and Portal 2 community actually really jumped on this game when it came out to start routing it, and we actually started and completed pretty much already a segmented speedrun of this. It's still in the process of being recorded, like rendered out, but I highly recommend you watch that when it is finished.
And just to put that in perspective also, how recently did this game come out?
Oh, I don't remember. I know it came out in 2014. Does anybody know approximately the release date? Because I have a bad memory for that. Oh, by the way, I'm doing something
I think
very
it was
interesting
just this
here with
summer,
chair.
so the fact that we've already routed it and you know, getting a segmented speedrun of it is very impressive.
Now,
Yeah.
for some reason here, you're supposed to like go for like a long runway here. I guess they deemed this too hard, so for some reason they gave you a button to skip it. And because we're speedrunning this, we're going to use it. And if you quick save and quick load here,
Or
you can
just load
actually
autosave.
skip that entire cutscene, which shows you, and it kind of just skips right into the next chapter right here.
Yeah, it actually creates an autosave in the next room as soon as you press that. It's kind of unfortunate that like it's faster for us to use the button to skip the escape course, because it would have been fun to try to speedrun it.
Also, shoutouts to the Truman Show there.
Oh yeah. Alright, so you may have noticed I did a jump when I was at that fizzler over there. What I did was pretty much avoid the trigger that gets rid of my gel, so that I could use it at the beginning of this next test chamber, and I completely skipped the puzzle, as we've seen so far in this run. Ah, if I had the perfect speed I could land up there, but it's not a big deal. Ooh, what? I painted that.
Yeah, this game can be kind of finicky with the portal, with the paint gun sometimes, because there's like a small delay before you actually have to spray it. So he actually has to do most of it ahead of time before he actually sprays it. Otherwise, it's just stuff like that will happen.
Yeah, that's probably what happened there. Yeah, thankfully this game has pretty good auto saves for the most part. Like it saved me placing the cube up there. There's like usually several auto saves per map.
What are we testing for? How is this going to end? Where else?
I guess they're anticipating you dying a lot, just in general.
Why does it look like I'm outside? Where is he getting with all these questions?
There's
Now that
actually-
relay, for some reason, you don't actually have to keep the ball there. You just need to kind of activate it once. And here you're supposed to get the orange gel, but thanks to some blue gel and mechanics, we can actually skip that.
Yep.
I am pretty sure I mentioned my name somewhere before. Don't worry now. Those other answers will all be answered later on. It's not like we will end the test abruptly. We have more than enough funding. Thanks, Atradium.
Oh, I guess now is a good time to ask, which ending for this game has won the bidding war?
Let me double check that real quick, but good was winning. Looks like good ending is the victor at 485 versus 290.
Alright, I will do the good ending when I get there. Alright. This is a really cool trick. please make that. No. I lost just a little speed at the start of that.
And again, the timing for the crushers, I felt like, at least in this game, were a lot more tight than
Whatever, I get to do
in
the
Portal
trick
2.
again. Get a lot of gel. Oh my god. Pretty close still. Please make it. I think there's an autosave up there. Yeah. So most of the time I'm trying to optimize my movement by like painting as I'm moving, but it's definitely a little bit riskier to do it that way. Like a lot of times, like when I was starting off running this game, I would paint the whole runway before going, but then finding little movement optimizations like painting the runway as I get there and then painting down for the blue gel just when I need it. That's the kind of things that'll save the bits of time when I'm doing attempts. Okay.
Now this chamber is also originally where the stuck launch was actually originally used into Portal 2, and this is where it was first discovered in a mod of Aperture Tag, and it was incorporated later into 3 gels. And what this does is basically lets you skip the majority of the chambers later on. You can see kind of this data right there.
Yeah, it's really interesting that like that glitch was found that was so useful for Portal 2, at least for some of the chambers now, and it was found in a Portal 2 mod instead of the original game.
So I think we explained it before, but we can just mention again. What's happening there is that the game thinks you're in a free fall state, so it just keeps increasing your speed, even though you're like just stuck on something.
There was sometimes the game is nice to you if you play blue gel over there and the cube will kind of just bounce into your hand. You actually got it there. That's like, I would say that's probably the only one RNG instance of the run here. Everything else is kind of just
It's actually surprisingly consistent for that to happen.
nice.
Oh, nice.
That's
I got
actually the hardest trick in the game.
Yeah, that chamber is actually kind of a pain. It's killed a lot of runs for me before, so I'm glad it went well here. Next chamber is a great showcase of how useful the blue gel can really be, especially when you know how to like get the maximum jump height off of it.
Good job. If you think that you still experienced a negative emotion while testing,
There's probably like, I don't know, a cube, a bridge, a runway, several like sections of that puzzle and just all skipped. And here's another pretty big one. And this one's kind of difficult because you gotta do it really quickly.
test chambers we were solving a couple hours ago. I would still enjoy the miss.
Nice. So you may have noticed my screen was like flashing red there. They knew that you could get on top of the railing and skip chambers, so they just made it damage you. But I guess they didn't want to prevent you from going fast enough and doing it anyway.
Uses the blue gel, but don't let that get to you.
Because it takes 3 hits to kill, and I jumped right after the second hit.
No mercy at all.
Alright, got a strafe there. And that basically allowed me to use blue gel in this part of the chamber where you're not meant to carry the cube over the fizzler. If you're not familiar with Portal 2 mechanics, yeah. Basically, the fizzler will destroy the cube, and the red grid above it will kill me if I touch it. So it's like the perfect height and perfect placement for me to go through the fizzler and the cube to go through the death grid. I really like that skip. Okay, and actually that was the second to last chamber, so this is the last one, and I'll do the good ending. Basically, there's like a hidden room in this chamber, and if you go there and press the button, you prevent yourself from dying at the end of the run. So, just gonna hop up here, bounce off the wall a little bit.
So you can see the very minor instances where he was actually shoving the objects like inside of him, and even though it looks like he's about to paint the object, he actually doesn't paint them at all. And you can kind of see how he preserves the cube, because this cube, for example, you actually want to preserve it.
Yeah,
Otherwise it's gonna bounce
I'm gonna
around
use
later.
this to solve the puzzle in a second here. Okay, land there, alright. Pretty good. And one more bounce. Alright, so here's the ending platform ride. There's not really too much at that point. At this point, the run is pretty much like done execution-wise, but we'll just sit through the ending. Oh, except for these turrets I gotta kill.
Now
Let's
here,
see how-
sometimes when you bounce the
Oh,
turrets, like you spray them with gel, sometimes the turrets will just randomly bounce into the tubes, and that's pretty nice to watch. So
Oh,
we'll see if he gets
dang.
it. He already missed 2 of them. It's
Um,
completely random, so...
Aw, they all teased me on it, but no. It's pretty funny because they like bounce all the way up inside there.
I can't shed out too many details, but get ready. Aim and fire! And someone from industrial engineering.
I guess again, just to repeat the, I guess the original intention for completing this game is to die at the end. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the normal ending. But basically, you find the secret button, and then this area here, which instead of being like a vat of either fire or the orange soda that is advertised in the game, I can't tell which, because it looks like it could be either one. But this is like closed up now, and this is the good ending. So I guess we'll listen to the dialogue that they have here.
Although I am very glad you did not have to die. Give me a minute. Okay, so your personality fits those of a previous test subject. She almost blew up the whole facility and killed my boss once. So I have instructions to let you go to avoid any future problems. Go through the door. This elevator will take you to the surface. We won't meet again. This is it. Goodbye. You know, you were my first test subject. You will always have a deep place inside my gears. Farewell, my human test subject.
So you think you're gonna like get freed here? Oh, look, portal to reference the turrets that you see. All right, we skipped the portal 2 credits, so I didn't actually see this, but whatever. This is all like a reference to the original ending of Portal 2.
Time is going to come up soon here, by the way.
Oh yeah, when the screen, well, I'll just say time, basically when it goes black. Let's see if I can bunny hop fast enough to reach the end of the train tunnel. Oh, by the way, this is not actually outside. It's like a fake outside. And then the lights turn off, and you're actually trapped. And time.
Very nice.
All right. So that sounds pretty good for being a good ending run, because that's like 2 minutes slower than the bad ending. I'll check my game time, I guess. 24 minutes. Yeah, not too bad.
What's the world record for this game?
Oh, world record for this game, bad ending, is 20 minutes and 58 seconds. I have it at the moment, but actually a couple other people who didn't even really run Portal 2 actually jumped on this game and started getting top times for it. So shoutouts to Psycho and Geist for being like good competition on this game and having good times. I hope that they'll go back and like beat my time, because it's still not really perfect at all. So I guess I'm calling you guys out. Keep running the game. That's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed Portal 2 and Aperture Tag. I have a lot of fun running these games. If you want to learn how to run them, I guess you can check out speedrun.com/portal, which has like leaderboards for all the Portal games, and also some resources like the demo timers. And of course, feel free to ask questions in my stream or any of the Portal 2 runner streams. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you for those awesome runs, Znernicus. We're going to be heading to a commercial break here real soon. So ad revenue for this stream goes to help us make future marathons possible. Subscription revenue will also be donated to the Prevent Cancer Foundation. So please consider adding us to your whitelist for your ad blocker programs, or subscribe. Thank you very much for all that you've done so, or for all that have done so, or have donated to the event. All right, Tiny Build Games is an indie developer morphed into an indie publisher. They partner up with indies across the world to help better their games, as well as develop games themselves. Make sure to check them out at tinybuild.com and check out their game Speedrunners, available in the AGDQ 2015 Humble Bundle. All right, welcome back to Awesome Games Done Quick. We are Games Done